This recording was rediscovered by Sheikh Ahmed Deedat in 2004 while he was bedridden, paralyzed and unable to talk. He communicated his desire for everyone to watch this recording, which he called Deedat a Fundamentalist. He used his communication board to express his desire to release this recording. It was recorded during March 1996, shortly before Sheikh Deedat became seriously ill. A Christian television journalist came to interview Sheikh Deedat about Islamic fundamentalism and other issues around it. As you will see, the journalist was well aware and well armed of the works of Sheikh Deedat. Whether this interview was ever produced and aired on television by the journalist is unknown. This version was recorded by the secret cameras in Sheikh Deedat's office. It is released in the hope that it will benefit Muslims about how to respond to questions about Islamic fundamentalism, as well as enlighten non-Muslims more about this very current topic, especially after 9/11 and the London bombings.
The Western world and the Christian world knows Islamic fundamentalism, and the picture it paints to me and to a lot of people, a lot of Christians, is violence, because that's the picture we see. We see bombs going off in Israel, and that's jihad or Hamas. What is Islamic fundamentalism?
You know, this is a very strange thing. This word fundamentalist and fundamentalism does not exist in the vocabulary of Islam. In Arabic, in Urdu, in none of our native languages this word is to be found. This word fundamental and fundamentalism is an invention of the Americans. They invented this word to describe those Bible thumpers, those who say that every word and letter of the Bible was revealed by God, every comma, full stop and colon was revealed by God. They call them fundamentalists. Who call them fundamentalists? Not the Muslims. You Christians call them fundamentalists. And by extension, anyone who goes to extremes in religion, start labeling them. So now if anybody, a Muslim, does something extreme, immediately you label him a fundamentalist. Forgetting that in Christendom you had similar type of people. Reverend Jim Jones in Jonestown, Guyana, he committed suicide with 911 of his followers en masse. He was a Christian fundamentalist, but you don't call him so. That David Koresh, that wacko, you remember wacko? Right. That gang was a fundamentalist. You don't call them fundamentalists. These pro-lifers in America were bombing hospitals where they do abortion and killing people. They are fundamentalists, but you don't call them fundamentalists. I want to know why. A fellow by the name of Ferguson, an Afro-American, on the New York Express at 5:33, he went and shot down people. That guy was a fundamentalist, but you don't call him a fundamentalist. This Jew who went and slaughtered the Muslims at prayer in the mosque, that American who had settled down the guy was a fundamentalist. You don't call him a fundamentalist. The guy who shot Rabin is a fundamentalist, but you don't call him fundamentalist. How is it that you only seem to be applying this on Muslims? You got double standards. You have fundamentalists. Those guys in Japan that gassing people. If you remember in Tokyo or something, so many people died. Those guys are fundamentalists. But you don't call them fundamentalists. It's only a Muslim becomes a fundamentalist. I want to know why. As you have extremes among Christians and Hindus and Jews and Shintos, Japanese, you also have extremists among the Muslims. But now this label is uncalled for.
Would you consider yourself an extremist if you're going to put that label on it?
I would say I accept the fundamentals of my faith. I believe in them and I live by them. For example, Islam forbids me the touching of alcohol. So I say, right, we won't touch it. Say, no eating of the flesh of swine. I says, I won't touch it. No eating of blood. I says, I won't touch it. It says, no gambling. I says, no gambling. No promiscuousness. No dancing with other people's wives and daughters. I says, I won't do that. Pray 5 times a day. I said, I will try and do that. Fast for 1 whole month. In the month of Ramadan, from before sunrise to sunset, no eating, no drinking, no sniffing, no smoking. I said, I will do that. So if that makes me a fundamentalist, I'm a fundamentalist, and I want every Muslim and every Christian and every Jew to follow the religion that way. That if your religion tells you that, Jesus said, you must not look upon a woman to lust after her. Do you live by that? No, you don't. I said, I would like to see you do that. That you have no more beauty contest, no more long leg contest, no more beach bump contest, which is going on. And you are good Christians. You go to church regularly. So I said, no, I want you to be a fundamentalist in that respect. In the teachings of Christ, follow it to the letter. Teaching of the Bible, follow it to the letter. The Muslim, so follow the Quran to the letter. In spirit and in form. So now, if that is called fundamentalism, then I think all good religious people of every church and denomination will be a fundamentalist. And you have an exceptional type of people in America. I read a book by Billy Graham, How to be Born Again. And in that it says there are 75 million born-again Christians in America. They are all fundamentalists. Accepted. As such, I am a fundamentalist. But I don't believe in throwing stones or grenades at people if they don't agree with me. I'm prepared to talk to them, reason with you. As my sister, you say, this is where, you have misunderstood this. And you argue and debate. You try to put me right. I said, that's all valid. That I'm prepared to do. To talk to people, to Hindus, to Christians, to Jews, to the atheists, the agnostic. I want to talk to them all, trying to bring them to God, God's ways. And if you call me fundamentalist, I'll be proud. That makes me a fundamentalist. But I don't believe in killing people.
So, I'd like to, you say that you don't believe in throwing stones or bombs, yet the groups that the West has called fundamentalist Islamic groups, as well as the Jewish fundamentalist groups, are killing each other in Palestine and Israel. They are bombing people, they are killing innocent people.
True.
And on page 72 of your book, you say, the gun is not the answer. Put down your sword, all they that take up the sword will perish by the sword. And yet, further on in your book, you're saying 300 years of slavery and hammering has turned the Afro-American Muslims into one of the most militant Muslim communities in the world. Arm him, help him to Islamize America before Armageddon overtakes America.
Right.
So it appears to me that in the same book you are saying we should not live by the sword, but then we must arm ourselves.
No, not arm yourself with knowledge. You say arm him with what? With grenades, with guns? I says no.
With the same, you're saying the militancy.
The intellect. Once you give that person something to talk about, like the born-again Christian, he's coming in knocking at our doors. He's armed with certain type of specialized knowledge. Christ died for your sins. Jesus said, I and my Father are one. Jesus said, he that has seen me has seen the Father. So he's armed with that, and with that he's coming along to get customers, converts, people. So knowledge, arm yourself with knowledge that you can talk. Otherwise 25 million Afro-Americans, suppose they all become Muslims. 250 million of others, what can they do? What can they do with any type of force? So no, but there is a force of the intellect. Talk, man, talk. Change the people. Make them to think like you, to see things like you. And they are yours. So when I say arm, if you read the whole thing, this is, you know what I'm talking about. I don't tell you the Arabs, so go and, supply them with guns or grenades. I said, help them with the Quran. Help them with the type of book that I'm writing. In other words, you arm the people to do the job. You arm them with knowledge, not with guns and grenades.
But now, what's happening in Palestine, etc.? Do you support that violence that groups like Hamas are committing, as well as?
No, I support no violence from either side. I have been telling, now if you read the book, this book of mine, you see that I'm suggesting, we must have a dialogue with the Jew. Talk to him, man, talk to him. Because I have been talking to Jews. as I've been talking to Christians. And when I'm talking to them, I can see that they are a very reasonable people. You have extremists among them. But I can see when I'm talking to them, I work for Jews. And as such, I came into close contact with them. They came to my home. We have been chatting at work. We have been chatting, arguing and debating. Then I have lectured to Jewish students at the University of Cape Town, University of Natal, Witwatersrand University. I've been talking to Jewish students. And I find them fantastic audiences, wonderful audiences. Oh, they put up a fight. That is the nature of the student, you see. University student, he is full of life and energy. He wants to show what he knows. But at the end of it, I can see they are a very reasonable people. So I said, learn to talk. And I tell you now, I show you what to talk about. And I'm not only who just tells you, you must do this and do that. I said, no, I show you how to talk, what to talk. Listen to me. Says I have some over 80 different videotapes on religious topics, including is Israel set up for destruction, or Arabs and Israel, conflict or conciliation. No? All these things are there. This is the way of showing people how you can arm yourself with knowledge that you can share and make the people to think like you. See your point of view.
Yeah. Your propagation center is trying to, let's say, convert Christians to Islam with adverts that you place in the newspaper, etc. Quotes such as, leave your sectarian attitude and follow Islam. I've also been quoted by somebody that Christianity is considered as the standard 8 of religion, whereas Islam is considered matric. Is your intention to get people to follow Islam, even if it's by coercion or force, considering that the Quran says there shall be no compulsion in religion?
That was going to quote you. So the Quran says, like Rafiddin, there is no compulsion in religion. By force, somebody makes you to say some formula. For example, you have come into my office, and me and my gang, we pull out a gun. I said, come on, say the Shahada, the Muslim form of conversion, to articulate that formula. Otherwise, we blast you. So what's that, uncle? I said, say, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, which means that there is no other object of worship but Allah, and Muhammad is the messenger. So you believe that. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. What is it worth? It's rubbish. That's rubbish. It must come voluntarily from you. He says, uncle, I like to be one of you. He says, my child, you have to go through a certain process. I have to give you all your do's and don'ts, your obligations. And you agree with all that, then you can become a Muslim. You are welcome. Whether you are a white Caucasian or an African or a Bushman or a Hottentot, whatever you are, if you agree to the way of life that you want you to lead, you are a Muslim. Your concept of God, the way we have, you are a Muslim. So we want to make the whole world to think like us. Islam is a missionary religion as much as Christianity is. Christianity is a missionary religion. It wants to convert the whole world to its way of thinking, to its way of salvation. Islam also wants the whole world to accept Islam as a solution to all of mankind's problems. So it is my duty and every Muslim's duty to